I'm really big on like it can bring up hard memories or emotions, but I try to fight against that like self-pity of like, woe is me that I'm single.
That's good.
And like, how do I celebrate people? And it's okay to be sad or be disappointed, but I also am like not gonna let that holiday overpower me in that way. I just am like, I'm not gonna let this one day dictate like my emotions.
Yeah, that's Welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. I'm sitting here with two of my favorite people. One has red lips.
Hey there. It's me. Not Lauren, it's Kalli.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for clarifying.
I'm Lauren with the neutral lips.
And
just
the
normal.
purple nails or pink nails.
Pink nails.
I forgot.
For the podcast. For my marathon tomorrow, actually.
Pink podcast nails.
Yeah.
And I'm Andrea. I don't know if I said that. Did I say that? Okay.
I think you did say Andrea Alley. Did I
I'm
remember?
Andrea
Only
Alley.
been 40
she's
seconds.
Fresh off a plane.
I was going to say, the reason Lauren has pink nails is because I totally miscalculated when we were going to be logging on to record this podcast.
Just by 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Easy mixed up.
I was literally on the plane like, wait, I think 3 o'clock, because I was still on California time because I flew in from California. So I was like, 3 o'clock is in like 20 minutes and I'm stuck on this plane. Like, what's happening? And I had to really humble myself because Lauren was trying to schedule out her life and
I'm popular.
I mean, yeah, there's no arguing with that.
Yeah, we agree to that.
Yeah. And so she had asked, like, wait, what time are we doing the podcast?
Weeks ago. She asked like at least a week and a half ago.
Yeah. And I thought she was talking about the one that we had already set up and put in the calendar. So I was like, Lauren, we said 3 o'clock. Like,
and I was like, for the coming weeks. I already knew about that one. I had to like defend myself. I was like, I know.
I was being so intense about it. And then I was like, and then I'm the one that like basically double booked it with my flight.
Hey, we loved it. I got to take a nap. I got to do my nails. Kalli hung out.
I caught up on some emails. I did the dishes. It was very productive.
It was honestly a gift in disguise.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad. I would have been so sad.
As Andrea's like stressfully eating as she got onto this podcast.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about, guys?
Which we already know,
everyone. Yogurt.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's not the only time I ate my words. Oh, what were you going to say?
Well, I was already going to jump into some fun things about us, but continue.
Yeah. Keep going, Andrea.
Because, I was going to tell the story about Hinge. Is that okay? Is that where you were going?
No, I just want to talk about how much you've been dating, like since we stopped this podcast the past 2 months.
Yeah.
You have been a machine.
It's true.
I didn't set out to get content, you guys. I set out to get a boyfriend, but instead I've gotten a lot of content.
Content is on point. It has kept me on the daily, spending 30 minutes of my life listening to your voice notes.
We honestly can't keep track of who Andrea is dating.
I have a list, and I'm
so
like,
many men.
Keith, Colton, who?
Travis.
There's so many people.
There's actually a meme out there that says, my friends are asking me like, how's Nick? How's Joe? How's Kevin? And I'm like, I have no idea who the heck these people are except for the Jonas brothers. But it's like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my word.
It's because she's been going on so many dates, they can't keep track of all the guys. And I'm like, I am that meme right now.
Yes. But because of Hinge and what you did on Hinge, that's why you haven't gotten a boyfriend yet, right? Is that what you're going to say?
Right. Yes. Okay. This is a dating tip that not everyone's going to share with you guys, but so yeah, this has been a humbling month for me. I guess it's February now, but January was because basically I am usually pretty, like, anything I put out there for the world to see, like I usually check it pretty thoroughly. But I decided I was going to switch up my prompts on Hinge which if you're not familiar with Hinge, basically you have questions that you answer to help people get to know you, and they're called prompts. And so I had 3 questions that I had answered, and I was like, I'm going to switch these up. And then I started answering, and I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going back to what I had before, because I think I had to go somewhere or something. So I quickly retyped out what I had before without checking. And then like 4 days later, I looked at my profile and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have huge typos on here, like embarrassing typos. Like it literally, like one of my main things I always put on my profile is like, I really want someone who loves Jesus. And it,
Just
so
like
it
that,
said
with that voice.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Kind of creepy.
It said, I really want someone who loves Jesu.
Jesu. I was
People
like
are
dying.
What religion is this?
Who's this Jesu? Some type of new religion going on.
And then didn't you say once you fixed that, like a ton of people like actually like started liking you or like talking to you?
I kid you not, guys. I fixed that and I got like 13 likes.
It's
like,
so
They're
funny.
like, okay, this girl can spell now. She figured this out.
I know who Jesus is, so I can like talk
all
to
of
her
a
now.
sudden you're on board. Which I was like, legitimately, if I had seen that, like I might have thought it was a fake profile or something. So I'm like, I can't even judge. I can't even blame these guys. Or I would have thought I was lying because my job literally says copywriter. And anyone who knows what that is like, I'm pretty sure they have to know how to spell. So yeah,
it's honestly true. If I saw a guy's profile and he wasn't spelling, I'd be like, oh, he's either like lazy or there's something going on that he can't tell.
Wait, no, I've done that nail in the coffin.
No, I've done that. So I'm like, I can't decide because there were like, there's at least one guy I matched with while I had those, like he liked my profile while I had the errors. And now I'm like, I can't decide if I should question this guy. Like, why did he like someone with typos? Or if I should be like, this guy cares the most about me because he liked me even
So
when there were typos.
Assume the best. He's like, she must have been rushed. She must have been rushed when she made this.
He's past the typos.
Working woman, so
what
she doesn't have time. Doesn't have time to check this.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Because I was
so good.
working so hard to check all the typos at my real job.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bad.
So good. So
good. Well, should we do a check-in of the past couple months of dating for us before we get into other things?
Yeah. Well, also Lauren survived a fire. I feel like we should at least touch on that.
A huge deal.
Yeah, you all saw it all over the internet. But I was a part of the Eaton Canyon fire, and it literally began 2.5, 3 miles north of me. So it was insane. I literally could see it from my house. So I evacuated for a couple days. Thankfully, my place is completely fine, but we had quite a few people from our community who lost homes. So January was awful. I'm so glad it's done. I'm just like, literally, I was in a team meeting this morning and everyone was basically like, we're glad January is done. It's just because there is so much loss and tragedy and just a lot of fear going on. So yeah, I feel like January, I'm like, what just happened? But we're on the uptick and people are figuring it out. Thankfully, I had no one like in super close proximity to me lose a home, but at the same time, it's still, you can see the effect. And my favorite breakfast spot was burned down, which is like so random. I love that we're all like shocked, but it's like it's like weird. You're like, oh, that's so sad.
Is it one we went to?
I haven't taken you all to it. But it's
bomb. That makes it even
She's
worse.
not going to anymore.
I'm like, does that make it worse or better? I don't know.
No, thankfully they have one more in another area. I'll take you guys if you guys ever visit me. So come visit.
If we ever visit you, we visited you multiple times.
Well, we have other places. We got Montana to go to, Texas.
It's true.
There's a lot of quality states that between the three of us. So
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, it is true.
When you do.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, we're so thankful that you made it and that your house is okay.
Yes.
And
so
we're
wild.
so sorry because we know you have friends in LA that listen. So yeah,
I know.
Anybody listening to LA,
we love you.
We love you, and we're so sorry for all that happened. And yeah, you guys were big time on our hearts and our minds.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Tons of people were asking me about Lauren.
Oh, I know. It was interesting, like being a part of something like that. I had people reach out to me that I haven't heard of in years, just because they're like, "How are you?" And so I was like, "Oh, it just shows the widespread community when there's a tragic event that happens. You're like, oh, this is like really meaningful." It was also overwhelming because I'm like, I can't respond to all of you. I'm trying to run for my life.
Yeah.
Be really intense. Be like, sorry, I literally see the flames coming at me right now. I can't respond.
I'm like, low key, she said that to me and Kalli. We're like, okay, cool.
That's true. Like, we'll just be praying. Awesome.
I know. It's like such a funny thing. And then I'm like, how's your dating life?
She's like, enough about me. What about you guys?
Kalli and I also like kind of survived a fire. So
you totally get it. They had
that's maybe why we were like a little more chill. Of course, we're like, that happened.
Yeah, you'll make it. You'll figure it out.
It's like crazy time, but you'll make it through.
You'll be fine. We've done it.
Oh my gosh.
So there's my update.
Yeah, thank
there
you.
It is.
Thanks for that. Cal, what have you been up to?
Man, okay, the last 2 months. December, January. Yeah. Wow. There's been a lot. It's been really good.
Honestly, half of November too. Wow. I think Jess and B-Roll came out like mid-November, I think, for our podcast. Yeah, we have
not stopped talking, just the podcast.
No,
just the podcast.
Just the podcast. No, it's been a wild time, guys. I officially have a boyfriend, which is a very big deal.
Fasted and prayed for 35 years of my life for this moment.
She really has been. Thank you. It kicked in.
Our podcast has so much more authority now that at least one of us has been successful.
So true. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my boyfriend and I, we started going out like in September and then became official like around mid-November. So around the time when we like took a podcast break. But it's been so fun. Just really enjoyed being in a relationship. I feel like I've learned so much, and it's just weird being on this side of things because I've, as you guys know, never dated somebody. But it's just been a lot of fun, but also like it's so interesting, I think, taking in information for years and years and years, and you're just like, okay, cool, at some point I'll apply what I've learned, but I haven't had to yet. And so now being in a position of taking what I've learned and putting it into normal life and communication and all the things, it's just been like, yeah, I guess fun is the word. Even when we've had to have like hard conversations or work through things, it's just been like, oh, okay, like this is what we're doing. And it makes me really thankful for, I think, like the schools I've been through and like just like classes I've taken. And it's just like, oh, like all those things that I've observed and received for years, like I'm like accessing those now. And it's just cool to see it like in use, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's just been, I guess fun is the best way to put it. And we've definitely, we've had hard conversations. It has not by any means been all like just pure bliss. It's been real life.
It hasn't been like the movies, Kalli?
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes like the movies, for sure. But I think that makes me even just appreciate it more, because when I see like moments where we are having conflict or we're working through stuff, it makes me be like, oh, this is real. Like it's not just like this fairy tale, like rose colored glasses scenario. Like this is real life. And I want to see how we work through conflict, because we will work through conflict in our lives. So how do we do that? How do we show up? How do we communicate? And so it's just been a great time, and it's been fun. Like I've gotten to meet his family. He's gotten to meet my family. He's in a group chat with Andrea, and it's pretty great.
I don't talk to boys.
I thought you were going to say Norm.
I mean, he has talked to Norm. Yes, they do chat sometimes.
Him and Norm are in a group chat too?
That's
I'm so
Callie's
jealous.
father.
Not
that's
with
Callie's
me
father.
As well. Yeah, that's my dad. He chats with Norm occasionally. They talk about sports, guy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently opened up the group chat with Kalli and him, and I am like, why haven't I done this with all of my friends' boyfriends? This is great.
It's a good way of vetting.
Yeah, it is.
And I miss Kalli sometimes. And she's with him a lot, so it's like, what do you guys do? No, I don't. I'm not like that level, but
she did tell us, she's like, hey, I'm gonna need you guys to watch The Bachelor on your next date because I need to talk to Kalli about it. And he and I had just talked about it, and he's like, no, I'm down to watch it. And so we had planned to watch The Bachelor already, and Andrea was like, I need you to watch The Bachelor, and we're like, we're already on it. It's happening tonight. I think that's what we said.
I was sensing it. Yeah.
I feel like if Andrea lived closer in proximity, she would just like go on your guys' dates with you and like sit in the middle and
happily.
No, I would be like Kalli was with Katie and Patrick.
Yes.
Like it'd be like, can we go on a date without Andrea?
But it would be such a dream. I would love it.
I would love that so much. Yeah. It's honestly, it's even more impressive to me because we're not in the same city. And
I know. We have FaceTimed, like, actually both of you. We FaceTimed both of you before.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great. Yeah.
It was really fun.
It's been so fun for us to see Kalli date and just like go through the process because we call it whirlwind romance. You know, she just had like a whirlwind and we were like, let's freaking go. We've been waiting for this. This is so fun. So
and by we, she means Lauren calls it a whirlwind romance.
Because
it was a whirlwind.
Me meeting him was, but everything else has been very
steady,
totally
slow.
But I have
thought through.
But I think it was
whirlwindy about it.
But I think it wasn't like Kalli pined for him for a long time, and we were talking about it. It was like, oh, here's this guy. He wants to take me on a coffee date. Like, it was like, what the? Oh my gosh, out of nowhere, guy. Like, you know. So maybe that it felt like that for me.
It's true. Lauren has been in a whirlwind romance from watching me.
Yes, exactly. And then she's like, nope, this is pretty average. Pretty normal.
I would like to say that I actually pointed him out in June to Kalli when I went and visited.
That is true. Good job, Dre. I don't remember this.
You know, like the friend elbow, like, Kalli, who's that?
Yeah.
He was leading worship or something, right?
Yep. He was. And I was like, oh, said his name. I was like, and he was seeing someone for a while before me. So I was like, oh, he has a girlfriend, which he didn't at that point. But I was just like, oh, that's,
you're like, he's taken.
It's like, Andrea, you can't point out people that are like in relationships and be like, you should date them. I'm like,
Andrea's like, I can. I can. So Dre likes to
trying to get the status.
Get the status. Oh my gosh. We're all like desperately trying to help each other. We're like, who?
Yeah, who can we find for each other?
I'm like, who wants to be the luckiest man in this room? That's what I'm asking.
Whoa.
Wow.
Amazing
what
confidence.
To end up with my friend. You're welcome.
Amazing confidence. So good. I love that.
Andrea did see it before he or I did, so she was great.
I love that.
So
we'll give you that. We'll give you that point right there.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Who would like to go next on their last 2 months?
Andrea.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
Yes.
There's too much to share in a podcast.
Honestly, this would be like a 3-part podcast if we went through all the dates Andrea has been on.
Think how many hours we've spent listening to her on our group chat.
Men in the wild, over the fence have said,
will you go happen with this woman? Okay, Dre, what do you want to share? Because I'm overwhelmed thinking of what you're going to share.
Like, part of me is cringing because I'm like, if any of them listen to this, they're going to be like, what? Like, this girl is like...
We won't say names.
Stop.
And you can't help if you're a hot commodity, Andrea.
Also, you're going for it, and I'm like, you're freaking amazing. Like, let's go. I'm so impressed. But the content is phenomenal.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. I think, well, to give like the context, you guys all know, if you've listened, that my hero is Dr. Henry Cloud.
We love you, Henry.
He's going to be on here.
Henry, come Dr. Cloud. I need to be respectful, probably, if I want him to come on. Dr. Cloud, you're invited anytime. But basically, he says, like, if you want to get married and you're serious about it, like, you need to get your numbers up. And so he says, go on dates, like go out there, meet a lot of people. He says be really open about like who you are willing to meet, talk to, go on a date, get to know, like and he even encourages you to date like multiple people at once. And then he says he says, and then be picky about who you're exclusive with. So, because he says once you get in a relationship, like you're committing to like working through stuff with that person. Like he doesn't believe in like just like really easily breaking up once you're in a relationship. Like he wants you to really vet people in that initial dating phase. And one of the ways he says to do that is like meet a bunch of people, like go on a lot of dates, and then you pick someone that stands out instead of just being like, well, I guess I'll go out with this guy because he's the only one asking, you know? So I just kind of took that
love it,
ran with it,
and hard,
still running really. But no,
you got like an energy though, like something happened and you were not into it, and then you're just like, let's freaking do this.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I didn't want to date, and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm ready to get out there. So just downloaded like Hinge again because I was off of it for I was dating, so I was off of it for like years, and then downloaded again like maybe a couple months ago. And then honestly, guys, like just getting on the dating apps, I think creates momentum. I've had 2 dates that weren't even from the apps. Well, one kind of, I guess. Because you're kind of in this place where you're willing to take risks because they don't feel as high stakes. Like you're like, if I talk to this guy and he rejects me, like it's not a big deal because I have these other guys like that I can talk to or get connected with on the dating app. And so I think you just, and you're like, you get in a rhythm of going on dates. And so it's not as like, oh my gosh, like I'm going on a date, I'm going on a first date. Like it's like, yeah, going on a date, like,
yeah,
no big deal. So, I've gone on a lot. I've gone on almost a date, like per week, 1 date per week, I think.
Let's go.
Since like we probably mid-November or end of November.
And even some of those you weren't even some people you were talking to you never even went on a date with. So there's like even more that you were doing just to be real of like, hey, you were going after like talking with people, messaging people, and then if you felt good enough, a physical date.
Yeah. I've told a lot of my friends what I'm doing on Hinge, but I'm going to throw it out there for you guys. I am filtering a lot of guys by asking for a phone call. And you can totally do this if you want, but there's some guys I think because like people are taking so long sometimes to like actually ask someone out, that there's some guys that will ask you out right away, which I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel better if I have a phone call. And even sometimes when when they don't ask me out right away, I still ask for a phone call just because it gives me a sense of like, okay, is this guy safe? Like, does he seem like he matches his profile? Like, does he seem like he, loves Jesus? Not that we like deep dive into it, but it is kind of like, it helps me get a gauge for like what a first date with them would be like. Because honestly, we've said it before, but going on a Hinge date or like a dating app date is vulnerable as a girl. Like,
yeah.
And a phone call kind of eliminates a lot of that. But like if you meet up, it's like, okay, I have to make sure we're in public. Like I have to make sure like I'm safe. Like, I have to just set up all these things. And so it is nice to get a gauge beforehand. Like, okay, the 2 things I'm looking for is like, do they sound like a safe guy? And like, are they fun to talk to? Because if they're fun to talk to, like it'll be an enjoyable first date. So
yeah.
That's something I've been doing, not every single time, but a lot. And I've been telling other people like, you got to do this. It helps. I think
it honestly does help vet, because you're like, if we don't have chemistry on the phone, how is it going to help in person?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah.
And you should tell the story if you can about the person you're like, oh, I think we'll jive, and then it like didn't. Do you remember?
You mean like over texting we jived?
Yes. And then in person.
Are you thinking I'm thinking about that one or the other one? I'm thinking of the one. I'm trying not to give details. Yeah.
Yes. where I ended up going on a really long date.
Yes.
Okay. There was somebody that I totally skipped the phone call. I broke a lot of my rules because I was like, I just really feel like this guy and I are going to be fine. Like, we had messaged for a while and we just had some like mutual connections, I guess, that made me feel like, oh, we're going to be good. And so my other rule is like, on the first date, just do coffee or something that's only going to take like an hour and a half ish, because you don't want to commit to like a full, like, let's do mini golf and dinner and dessert. Yeah, it's just like a lot. So I broke all the rules. And then we did not jive very well in person. And I think our personalities just like didn't mesh super well. And so there's an element of like, if you have chemistry with someone, you walk away energized. Like, you walk away like, oh, I could have kept talking to them, you
like, want to do it, hang out again.
Totally. And for him, I just didn't feel that way. I kind of felt drained, and which is fine. I've just been paying attention to that, like, because I think in the past I would doubt myself a lot. I wouldn't trust myself, and I would be like, well, he's a good guy, like, just keep going, but lately I've just been like, you know what, if I feel drained, I'm just gonna say like, okay, we don't have chemistry, and that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna try to like make it happen when it's not there. So but yeah, I wish I had given him a phone call, because I think I would have had a little bit more of an idea how it would go. So
yeah.
But
it's hard too when it's like, you don't want to always have to follow it by the book. It's fun to every once in a while just be like, I'm just gonna see what happens. But yeah, it's just sometimes you try it and you're like, oh, okay, didn't work.
Yeah. Sometimes.
And I like that you've been trying so many different like strategies. Like, that this is not that dating is a game. We're just saying we're really trying to like try try new ways, because in all of our, at least I think all three of us in our 20s, we just like, we're like, I'm just gonna wait, a guy will find me, and hopefully like I marry that person, like really kind of like just so minimal. And now we're third is like, oh well, we're gonna just try all different types of ways of dating, and it's okay if it doesn't work out.
And can I tell that one story of that guy I talked to on the phone about Enchanted Rock?
Oh, please.
Go for it.
Do.
This one's so good, just because Lauren came up, which happens all the time, by the way. Like, I talk about Kalli and Lauren, like, the guys are probably like, is she in love with her? These
or
women?
It's like, wow, she has friends. This is good.
Yeah, hopefully that's what it is. Yeah.
Healthy relationships.
Healthy relationships. So anyway, I'm talking to this guy, which he initiated the phone call this time, which was great. I was like, awesome.
Good job.
We have the same rule. And so it was like a good conversation. Like, he was really easy to talk to for most of it. But then there was one point where he asked if I had been to Enchanted Rock in Texas, and my one experience with Enchanted Rock is that Lauren was coming to visit, and I was like, we have to do Lauren things. Like, she loves hiking, she loves outdoors.
It was a very sweet gesture.
And I'm trying to like, which I love hiking and being outside too. It's not like it's like, I'm not like dying to myself out there, but but we also like have been spoiled because like Redding has great hiking and like beautiful mountains. Texas is a lot of flat. So anyway, so I find like I think somebody from my family recommended like, oh, go to Enchanted Rock. Like, it's a destination. And so I had never been here. And so I tell Lauren, like, we're going to Enchanted Rock. I think, how long did we drive? Like 2 hours?
Over 2 hours to this random frick ass rock in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And it literally is just like a lump of rock. And we just like basically hiked 6 miles around it in dust. And
wait, we did hike up it though. And
I don't want to talk about that because you yelled at me. I don't want to bring that into the podcast. Our argument.
I want to hear it.
I was afraid of heights. I was afraid of heights, and I was like not liking going on the rock because I was like, if I fall, I roll down this rock. And Andrea just goes, look at these older people walking. Look at these kids walking. You can do this. Just sit down if you're scared. And I was so mad at her because I was like, she's right. But I was like hyperventilating. I was like, it's like so scary. And then at the end, though, we got snow cones. And that was the best part, was getting snow cones on this freaking rock. That's all I care about.
You know, I don't remember that tone. I don't remember having that tone.
No, you did. You were like, you like looked at me with disappointment. She was like, just look at these people. Just sit down.
Whenever Lauren recounts a story between her and Andrea, Andrea's like so mean and like, I'm like, wow. I would love to see
She's
this
never
interaction.
mean. Andrea's never mean, but it's like, I'll exaggerate it because like any disappointment Dre has in me is a big deal.
Okay, I will say with Lauren too, I think I can be a little bit more like that just because I know Lauren runs freaking marathons.
It's true.
So whenever
she'll get tough on me.
Whenever Lauren hits any kind of mental wall, it like kind of takes me aback because I'm like, you've run marathons, like you can climb up this stupid rock.
She'll kind of become like a coach. Like she'll just be like, why can't you just deal with this? And then in my brain, it's like, okay. So anyways, Enchanted Rock is like a really funny memory between Dre and I.
Yeah, Continue. It's a memory that we've joked about a lot.
Like
and
make fun of.
Lauren, Lauren would like give me crap. Like, remember that time you made me hike around a rock like 5 times in the middle of nowhere?
It's just like so rando.
And so in my head, this is like a hilarious story. So I'm telling this guy because he'd asked if I'd ever been to Enchanted Rock. And so I'm telling him like, yeah, I took my best friend there and she still gives me crap. Like, remember that time you took me to a rock and made me walk around 8 times? So I'm telling him this whole thing. I'm thinking like I'm hilarious. And he just goes, yeah, Enchanted Rock's like one of my favorite places.
Like in general, not like just hiking, like in general?
I think just in general.
Wow.
Also, yeah, so that's the story of the time. Another time I ate my words. Put my foot in my mouth.
Did anything come of that after that conversation? Did you all go on a date or anything?
He asked me on a date, and then like a week later, he told me that he actually was going to pursue someone else.
Wow.
Thank you.
Was it because of Enchanted Rock? I think so.
I was going to say
1,000%.
He was like, hey, the way you talked about Enchanted Rock just really rubbed me the wrong way. No, and I can't.
But when you messaged us the Enchanted Rock thing, I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work. I was like, this guy, nah. Can't work
He's
Enchanted
like,
Rock.
You jerk.
Oh my gosh.
I would like to say though, just shout out to the men, all in all. They have really like in general done a great job. Like planning the dates and taking initiative and asking me out. And like sometimes I would kind of like maybe break the ice a little bit or like maybe make the first move, I guess. But like all these guys picked it up and and started leading the like, I don't know, taking initiative, I guess, and asking me out and communicating. And so I would like to just say that overall, like, even though it didn't work out with anybody, like I feel like all of them have been really good guys for the most part.
Awesome.
So
yeah. Way to go, man.
Yeah. I feel like they all, from just your different stories, a lot of guys just did a good job of even like planning or treating you well or just wanting to follow up on things. And so I just remember being like, what, really? Like, these are good men. Like, even if it didn't work out with you, they're going to find somebody, like, just because of the quality work that they were doing to put into like even getting to know you, I felt like. So
totally. Yeah. I think they'll all do great. And it was all like different things, like sometimes it's just like, oh, we have different beliefs or like value system or like the denomination we're in is like a little bit too different, I guess. Lauren and I joke about how like you learn about all the different theology, all the different denominations on Hinge.
Online dating. Yeah. Because Christian can mean so many things. And you'll usually bring that up, I think date 2 or 3, Dre, you'll usually have a conversation about like, okay, what do they really believe?
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Well, because I think I start to pick up on it. And so
they'll say things usually.
Yeah. So then I just start asking questions because I'm curious and they're kind of already talking about it. So yeah, it does naturally come up a lot of times, maybe like date 2 or 3. But Yeah.
Not that you're like trying to dig, because I think that's what's been the worst is when I've been on dates where people just start going after my theology or going after whatever they want to hear the right answer about, and that feels so attacking. You're just like, ooh, you're obviously just trying to figure out if like I'm a fit for you or not. So that's not fun. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, go ahead, Cal.
No, what you were gonna say something, and then I'll segue it.
Dre, can you share about your group date?
You have to tell about the group date. We have to.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
We have to catch up to people.
Yeah.
You went on a group date.
She sure did.
Oh my gosh.
Accidental.
It is funny. It's just like also funny because some of these guys were like, I don't want to end up on your podcast. Or like they like talked about how they're scared of ending up on the podcast. And I was like,
we're saying no names. No names.
Well, and I was like, we really tried to be really honoring on there.
It's true, but sometimes like these are just like funny things, like funny, not making fun of the guy, but just like a funny situation.
Yeah, it was like a TV show or something. So neither of us had been to an escape room before, and he had kind of gotten one recommended to him, like, oh, like this was our second date, and yeah, somebody was like, you should take her to an escape room, like this one's really cool. And so he's like, great, okay. And so he signs us up, and we get there, and the person's like, he's like, you know, checking us in and like, welcome to the escape room, like blah blah blah. And then he's like, by the way, you're gonna be in there with 6 other people, so you should go meet your like group. And we're both like, wait, what? And he's like, oh my gosh, I did not realize this was with 6 other people. And I was like, oh no. I guess he thought it was going to be like just me and him. And I was like, maybe that happens. Like, I'm not an escape room like genius myself. Like, I had heard that you do it in a group, but I was like, maybe there's one where you just do it together. Like, I don't know.
A romantic one. I was like,
I didn't really question him too much. So then we were both like, oh no, this is definitely with a group. And so we'd start meeting these people, and I feel like just being in church world has exposed me to enough like awkward group situations.
Amen.
That I just went into that mode, you know, where you're just like, you're like, hey,
easy.
What's up? Like, level, it does not matter how awkward they are. Yeah, you're just
I can date with this guy.
Totally. Yeah, I'm like, I'm on a date and I'm meeting these people that are like, I don't know if y'all have ever done an escape room, but people who are really into them, like, there's a certain type, okay? Like,
there's a personality.
There's a personality for sure.
It's like everyone who wanted to be a spy when they were a child. You know what I mean?
Great kid.
And thankfully I'm honestly thankful, because I'm like, we would have never gotten out of there if we had not been with these like escape room enthusiasts, but we were thankfully. So yeah, so us and 6 other people, we go into this room and we spend an hour like solving puzzles and like looking up clues and
what you said you like were observing half the time.
Yeah, so he and I, because we had never done an escape room, we're just kind of like trying to not mess it up, honestly. Like, we're like, how do we be helpful? Like, I don't really know. We're mostly observing, because there's a lot of different like little tasks that you have to do, but like the intense people, they're kind of scary, so you don't want to do it wrong, you know? Like, no. And so it's kind of like, yeah, you're like, do I really want to participate? Like, not if everyone's gonna be yelling at me, like. So, which that they were like nice, but it wasn't, I don't know, the vibe was like, I don't know if there's a lot of forgiveness here. There's maybe a little bit, but so yeah, he and I just like mostly observed. And then at the end, we did get out of the escape room, maybe like 3 minutes to spare or something. And the host comes in and she's like, do you guys want a picture? And so we're like, sure. One of the guys is like, sure. So there's a picture of me on my second date with 6 other strangers.
We'll post it on Instagram soon.
Yep. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
And so, yeah, I will say we did go to dinner before then. So we did have like some time, just like one-on-one to talk also. But then I came home and told Lauren and Kalli about this. And
she sent us a picture and
just
like it was normal.
cracking up.
It's so good.
It was so funny. Like I was like, you just went on a freaking group date and it's just like so funny. It's like all these like, I don't know, everyone's just stoked to be in this thing. And you're like, oh, I guess this is kind of funny. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why.
It's so good.
So
It's just like The Bachelor, only, you know, a little different.
Yeah.
But
no, truly. Yeah. I was like, oh, we just went on a group date. I was like, I basically spent an hour bonding with these like complete strangers that I'll never see again.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. Totally.
And we thought it was just going to be me and him bonding with each other. But instead we like have this full like group experience. So
yes. And I think it's fun because like you have a lot of dates you've gone on where it's like you just get a meal or you get a coffee, but this was like a different type of action date, I guess. And so it was like, oh, this is interesting.
Well, and that's another thing is I've been like a lot because I used to like kind of give pushback more, which there's nothing wrong with that. But part of me was like, am I just trying to like control too much? Like, and so this time I've been a lot more like, sure, like whatever you come up with.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's good.
Let's just go for it. Yeah. And so this was like another situation where I was like, I don't know about that, but okay, let's go for it. And then, yeah, it's totally, you know, when you're going into a thing like that and you're like, this could go either way. Like, truly.
Oh my gosh.
Truly, it could go either way. Like, it could be a really awkward experience or it could be really fun. So, yeah, it was like kind of one of those things. And those always come out good stories. So,
oh, yeah.
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 So good.
We are planning to release this episode actually on my dad's birthday.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Dad. February 11th. Which means Valentine's Day is coming up this weekend.
Coming up
and hot. Yeah, and we're kind of approaching it from all different perspectives, but we know that this can be a hard holiday if you're single or if you're dating but you're not in a relationship or you're not sure how things are going. Or honestly, I heard a lot of people break up like before or like right around Valentine's Day because it like
sad.
Well, it kind of forces you to like define things and maybe puts a light on like different things going on or whatever. So anyway, we want to kind of share a little bit and make you feel like we're with you because truly we are.
Yeah.
But also like celebrate with you if you're in more of like a place with like Kalli is where she's got some stories for sure about being single on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
But we're also excited for her because this is her first one where she's in a relationship. So that's exciting.
Yes.
So yeah, Kalli, how are you feeling going into your first Valentine's Day?
Oh, yes. Well, it's kind of weird. Like, yeah, because like I said, I just have never been in a relationship during this time of year. Usually it's like, oh, here it is again.
Yeah.
Nate, still in the same single boat I've been in for, 30 years. But this one is, it's like different. So I'm like, oh, like I actually like doing it with a guy. That's weird.
That's like expectations now.
Wow. Okay. Great. No, I'm really excited. And just as a side note, I wanted to say I love both Andrea and Lauren have been like so sweet and like just the best of friends, and anything I've shared like about my relationship, like they are like just so supportive and cheering me on and like, we're so excited for you, and just like have been the best. And I've just like felt so loved and supported by them and other people too, but especially by these women. And so those are examples of great people that are just for you. And like a great example of when you're in a different season than somebody else, just being like, hey, I see what you're doing. And I see also how long it's taken you to get to that spot. And I'm just like cheering for you and I love you and I'm excited for you. Like that's just the best. So I just wanted to say that as a side note. But yeah, I'm excited. We're going to go out to eat at this really nice place. And sweet man. He's getting me some gifts that he won't tell me what he's getting me. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to bring it then too. And he's like, you don't need to get me anything. I was like, well, I'm not going to just sit there and receive gifts and be like, thank you. And that's going to be it. So there's a few things
sweet
I'm going to get, which will be precious. But it's also just been fun, I think, like learning each other, learning like what we like and our rhythms, because we very much do that. And we're not like, oh, well, this is what you have to do and this is what other people do. We're very much like, oh, what do you like? Okay, well, this is kind of what I like to do. And we figure that out based on that.
Great tip in there.
It's super true.
It makes it really fun and makes it really enjoyable. So not doing anything out of obligation. We're just like, do we want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. And then we go from there. So I love that. Yeah. But previous Valentine's days, I mean, there's definitely been a range, but I would say for the most part, it's always been like a time of year that I really enjoy because, and Lauren's going to touch on this in a little bit, but I think it is a time where you can really look at your life and be like, oh, I feel like I have such rich relationships and I feel like I am someone who's really loved and I am someone who loves really well. And so I'm just going to celebrate the people around me. So I've had a lot of like, Galentine type stuff, or when Andrea and I lived together, we had so many Valentine's Day things and we would just go all out. We'd like have like dinner and then a lot of dance parties at our house, which were the best. And it was usually her, me, and then one or two other roommates at the time. And we just had a great time. And
we were spearheading it for sure.
We really were. And we'd also go around and it was very cute. Andrea did this thing where she said, like, I want to go around and say, like, I can't believe how did it go? Like,
oh, it was like, I can't believe you're single
because and then it was like
that's cute.
All these encouraging things. Like, it was just so sweet. And it was a time where we'd really like build each other up. And it wasn't just like, coming up with things out of thin air. It was like really speaking life into each other, saying, these are the qualities I see in you. And this is why I'm believing like you're going to be in a great relationship at some point. Like, it was just really sweet. So
I forgot I did that.
Great.
Wow.
What a profound woman you are. So I think it's just fun. I think it's a great time of year to just reflect and be thankful. And of course, like, yeah, there can be pain. Like, I've had some years where I'm like, cool, single again. Like, this is neat. But there's also been times where I've just really leaned into the relationships that I have and I'm thankful. And just like, it's a good time to let people know that you really care about them. I think, there's no time of year that's a wrong time to do that. But it's a time where you can just like reach out to people and let them know like, hey, I really value you and I'm so thankful for you. So
yeah, I've gotten my single friends flowers before.
That's the best.
It's so
that's
cute.
So great. I love that. Yep.
Yeah. 1 year, Kalli, remember it was
the burrito.
Yeah, what was the burrito? I was like, oh, because you didn't like burritos.
No, I didn't at the time.
There was one
I love
place.
Burritos.
Me too. And there was one place in Reading where I really liked their burritos, and so I was like, you have to try this place. It's literally like this gas station. It's a Mexican restaurant outside the gas station.
I've been there.
Yes,
it's good.
Yes, it is good. And so I was like, you're going to like this burrito. And so I literally have this picture of Kalli, like, because these burritos are like the size of your face. Like, they're so huge. Big. Yeah. So I have a picture of Kalli holding this giant burrito and eating it.
And her caption was something like, all I want for Valentine's Day is for Kalli to eat this burrito and love it. And
I think a lot of pressure.
I had it and I was like, meh.
Yeah.
That's such a Kalli reaction.
She ate it. So I was half
the average.
It's just funny because now I like them, but back then it's just like they weren't that exciting to me.
Yeah, that's true. When we visited you in Montana, we went and got burritos.
I've changed.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's okay to change over time,
Thanks.
Yeah, that was a great one. I forgot. We had some good ones.
We did. We had some, great dance parties, probably 3 years in a row. We were just like, great.
Some amazing dance parties, just in general. It didn't even have to be a special occasion.
True. Our house was known for that.
Yeah.
And by known for that, I mean the 3 or 4 of us that lived there knew that, but
Yeah.
they were great.
Yeah. There's definitely some dance videos of Lauren and I too. We hit record probably too much on our dance video.
It's for the best not to be seen. It's like somewhere on Photoshop on our computers that don't work anymore. Photo booth. There we go. Photoshop.
People out there are like, release the video.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I never will get a husband that way.
Oh, they're so good though.
Not true.
Wait, Dre, how do you prepare for Valentine's Day this year? Or do you have any?
Oh man,
or any stories?
Any stories?
Yeah, I have one. Like, I'm like, this was the worst feeling ever.
Tell us.
Valentine that happened in college. Happened in college. So in college, I lived with 3 girls and they were like amazing at getting boyfriends. Like, I honestly should have like asked them for tips probably, but in college I was like more spiritual. So I was like, it's okay. Like, I'm just waiting for like the one, you know? So didn't think to like ask people like, how do you like have to talk to boys to get a boyfriend? No, just kidding. But so all of them had boyfriends. And so I come home from school one day and our dining room table literally has 3 bouquets, like big, beautiful bouquets of flowers for each of my roommates, and obviously there's nothing for me on this table.
Wow. If I had known you.
I know.
If I had known you.
And I was just like so sad. This was literally on Valentine's Day. And one of the guys was like pursuing one of my roommates, and so it was like a big deal that he like had sent her flowers. And so there was like it's this element of like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. He sent you flowers. Like, you know, we're like all celebrating her and we're like giddy and stuff. And then I can't remember if I already had them or if I went to Target and got a bag of peanut butter M&Ms. And literally, yeah. So after this happens, I go into my room with my bag of peanut butter M&Ms, and I think I was watching like Dancing with the Stars or something, just like crying and eating my peanut butter M&Ms and being like, "This is the worst. Like, I hate this so much." Yeah,
you and half of America, Dre.
Yeah,
you and half America.
No, I was totally with my single ladies. So, and some of the men, you know. If you guys cope that way, I'm right there with you. So anyway, if you've ever had like an experience with like that where you're like, I feel like I'm the freaking only one single on Valentine's Day, like, I am so sorry, and it's not a fun feeling. And yeah, I think back then I didn't have as many like skills, I guess, for like how to like work through those feelings and stuff. But I think, so I think it has been really healing, like just being with Lauren and Kalli and people who are just like, let's just make the most of it. Like, let's just have fun. Like, you know, like it's amazing. Like, love is beautiful. Like, we get to celebrate that it even exists, and that, because it's like such an amazing thing that that we can like feel that way about somebody and they can feel that way about us and get into relationships and date and get married, and we love and we love all the things. So I think well, and as a teacher, I will say it is like one of the cutest holidays in the world. I would get 24 Valentines from all my little students.
Cute. How beautiful you are.
Cute. And it was just a fun, like, it was so fun. Like, we'd make our little boxes, and like it was just like we like make a big deal out of it. And so I think that redeemed it for me too in a lot of ways, is just to see like the innocence of them like being excited and having crushes. And because 5th grade you start like, that's like
such
a crush phase.
Hardcore crush phase.
Yes.
I was 1st grade crushing, but you know,
totally.
I was like 4.
Yeah, crushing young.
One of my students DTR'd me one year.
Oh no! What does that mean?
He defined the relationship.
Yeah.
So he gave me a Valentine that said, you know how all Valentines say like, goofy ways you're like, his said like, I love you a latte. That's what his, and it had like a little coffee latte on it. And so he gave it to me, and like they all say stuff like that, but he's the only one that felt the need to like clarify, like, well, like, I don't really see you that way. Like,
that's so good.
and I was like,
I appreciate
okay,
that
like, it's all right.
communication.
Yeah. Such
Thank
clear
you.
communication. I was like, he's gonna be one of those guys that's like such a clear communicator.
You're in the right direction, man.
I don't really
Keep it up.
see
No, totally.
You're
Yeah,
like, my
it was
heart is
hilarious.
broken.
I was like, I know. I was like, thank you so
Crush.
much for clarifying that.
Sorry.
So yeah, this
That's
year I
so
feel like
cute.
I honestly haven't thought about it a lot. I'll be in Phoenix, so that kind of helps, I guess. But
Oh, to see the fam. Oh, because it's Dave's
my dad's
birthday.
birthday.
That's
Aw.
right.
Yeah, so I'll be there. So my parents are gonna have to take me on their date, I guess.
They better.
Ew. Oh, the dream. Maybe you
They
can go see a
better.
movie.
Yeah, maybe
That'd be
we
fun.
can. Yeah, that'd be really fun. But Lauren, I would love to hear your take on Valentine's Day. How do you prepare for it? Like,
I friggin' love Valentine's Day so
This woman.
much.
Tell
Single
us.
or dating.
she loves it.
I love it. And I think it's because it's nostalgic. I come from a family that loves holidays. So, like,
Oh.
every holiday is a big deal. And Valentine's Day, I would wake up and my whole kitchen would be decorated. And we'd have each like our own little placemat with like a heart and cards and chocolates.
So cute.
It was
Adorable.
like Christmas, but for Valentine's Day. So it was so fun because winter sucks. So just to have something to like break up winter,
Yep.
Yeah.
I needed it. But then as I got older, I think I just was like, oh, this is, I mean, I've loved like the cards, but I just was like, oh, I can like, I don't have to have a boyfriend. Like, I'm very stubborn. I'm like, I don't need to have a boyfriend to celebrate like Valentine's Day. And I kind of like look down on my friends who are like, this is gonna be the worst week because I don't have a boyfriend. I'm like, what the heck? Like, let's all get dinner. Like, let's go do something. Like, I was like, break the system.
That's
and then
right.
and then
There
I
are no
talked,
rules here.
yeah, and then I talked to my guy friends who are like, I hate Valentine's Day. It's just an excuse to like get girls flowers. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like such a good time. You don't need any pressure. Like, don't let them put that pressure on you. So I feel like I was talking to both my guy friends and my girlfriends
Yeah.
about like, this is a great day to just celebrate your mom or your dad or anybody. Like I was on my phone with my mom earlier and she was like, oh, your Valentine's Day card's in the mail. Like,
Oh,
so it's just like so precious. It's like, oh, this is like a sweet day to like celebrate one another.
so sweet.
And then like some years, yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm a little sad because of a breakup or something. And so I think 2 years ago, I was single on Valentine's Day and I went on a 17-mile trail run and on Valentine's Day for myself. Like,
Nice.
so, yeah, or I've had like Galentine's, or I'm having in place of Valentine's Day, a waffle night next week to like celebrate like with my friends. And
Love
so
waffles.
we're having a
So
waffle
cute.
night, my third annual to be exact. But
She sent us an invite.
yeah, you all are
Yeah.
invited. Sorry,
Thank
not
you.
everyone else. But
Her
exclusive.
bungalow won't fit everybody else.
Yeah, we can only fit like 25 max and 450 feet of space. So anyways, but I just think it's like, this is not just like this pressured day. I don't know. I just get frustrated with that. I'm like, no, this is just like a beautiful day to celebrate people. And I'm really big on like, yes, it can bring up hard memories or emotions, but I try to fight against that like self-pity of like, woe is me that I'm single.
That's good.
And like, how do I celebrate people? And it's okay to be sad or be disappointed, but I also am like not gonna let that holiday overpower me in that way. I don't know. I just am like, I'm not gonna let this one day dictate like my emotions.
Yeah, that's good.
And
Lauren.
so so I think that's probably how I think about Valentine's Day. And then it is fun to be like, Callie's going to date. I was already like, what is she gonna wear? Like, this is how I'm thinking for Callie. Like,
oh yeah, we live
Callie gonna
vicariously
wear?
through.
Yeah. So
Callie.
Very sweet.
I think it's like getting excited for people instead of the idea of like, it has to be all about me.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be, times where I'm going to be able to have like a really sweet romantic Valentine's. But that's a lot of pressure when it's like for one day of putting that all on a relationship, when it's like, what if it's just like a beautiful normal day, but you get to like celebrate people? So I think it's kind of like how I think about Valentine's Day. But
yeah.
I love that. I love just not being a victim to the day and
So
going
good.
against the normal and just being like, how can I love people? How can I celebrate them? How can I love life right now? I think that's so good. And I hate the self-pity that a lot of people will partner with around Valentine's Day. And it's just like you said, it's okay to be sad, but you're not a victim to your marital status. So
yeah. And I think even what you were sharing this a little bit, Kalli, but like guys I know feel a lot of pressure, like that they have to perform, or a lot of guys don't like it. They're like, oh, I have to do all these things for this girl. She'll be mad. And you didn't even like ask for gifts. He's like, I'm getting you some gifts and da-da-da. You're like, whoa, like, but he's wanting to do it because it's like he's excited about you. And so I think it's this idea too of like not putting pressure on people to do anything, but it's just like, oh, we want to be together. And then it's just really sweet that he wants to do that too.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, you know, not to like go therapy on here, but like, I feel like if you're feeling this, like, you know, he needs to do this and this and this, or else, like, you know, like I'm not gonna have a good Valentine's Day, or he doesn't love me, or like, you know, whatever, like that's something that you probably need to look at in yourself, because like at some level it's like, I mean guys can do this too, but like we can all get in that mode where it's like, I need my significant other to like meet this deep need inside of me that's like impossible for him to meet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all the flowers and cards and words and dates in the world aren't going to fill that spot. Like, and I think that's why like it's been so healthy with Kalli, is because she's already filled that spot. Like she already knows who she is, and she's not coming into her relationship like, you know, needing a bunch of affirmation from a guy. Like she, you know, like it's great, but I think it's because she's living out of like an overflow, and she doesn't have like a deficit that she's trying to get someone to fill.
Oh, guys, so sweet.
Yeah.
So
but happy
Valentine's Day.
You're both like so fun to give gifts to, because it's like you're just so thankful and excited about the smallest thing. And I think I love gifts. Yeah, that's just proof that you're like a grateful person, and not you know, and not like you don't feel entitled to anything.
The summary of this podcast is be grateful.
So this Valentine's Day, be thankful.
Thank somebody.
That's right. Find something to be thankful for.
Lauren had some good stuff. Like, take your eyes off yourself for sure. Like, whenever you feel that thing of like, oh, like this my life sucks, like it's like, okay, maybe like I need to write some cards to some people that love me and I love, and just celebrate like the love that I have in my life, because there's a lot.
There's
so much love.
Oh, guys, so nice being back with you.
Oh my gosh,
it was a treasure and a pleasure.
Truly.
Yep. Took the words right out of my mouth.
You're like, I've been waiting.
That was Lauren's Valentine to us. A rhyming Valentine.
A treasure and a pleasure.
That card in the mail that says that from you.
I'm really sad that we couldn't share like the hundreds of stories Dre has from these past 2 months.
We tried though. We got a couple out there.
They're going to be coming out, I'm sure.
I was going to say content for the future if need be. But you shared some good pointers of like what you've learned, or like some ways you've gone about dating. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty of opportunity. But I'm like, I've talked like that whole time. So
no, I appreciated it. I was entertained.
So good.
Oh, great. Well, love you both.
Love you.
Happy almost Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next pod.
Me too. All of you listening, happy Valentine's Day coming up. And we're excited that you're with us. We're excited to jump into the next like few episodes. Thanks for sticking with us after the break, through the break. We actually had so many people come up to us and be like, when's the podcast coming back?
It was really sweet.
Which is so sweet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been like, it's every time anyone says anything, honestly, we like are just so excited, because like We're like, somebody besides our moms are listening? This is amazing.
A miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So love you all. And yeah, we will see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, oops.